So let's go ahead and do a comparison between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone SE 2020 model and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. Now both these phones are honestly very similar in a lot of different ways, and we kind of made fun of the iPhone SE 2 back in 2020, mostly because of the way it was so much more similar to the iPhone 8 than any iPhone that came out in 2020 or around it. But if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now starting off side by side, you can definitely tell that both of these phones look almost identically the same, and you probably can't even tell which one is which. The iPhone 8 that is in my left hand came out in 2017, and this was a very interesting phone that Apple made, mostly because not of this phone, but because of the iPhone 10. They dropped this phone the same time as the iPhone 10, so a lot of people probably don't even remember this phone too much. But this was a cheaper model of the iPhone that came out during that time. It had a 4.7-inch IPS panel, and it definitely wasn't that bad of a screen. I still think it looks okay. And for the most part, there's not a lot to complain about here. You have the top bezel, the bottom bezel, you have tiny bezel around the sides of the phone, but overall I still think it looks great, and I don't really think there's a lot to complain about here for a 2017 phone. However, for a 2020 phone, I think this thing's design was a little bit outdated. The iPhone SE 2022 model is definitely outdated. That's why not really too many people talk about that phone anymore. But with this one, you were still getting a 4.7-inch panel. I think it wasn't the end of the world that this phone looked like this, but even at that point, I feel like Apple could have done a better job. You had the top bezel, you had the bottom bezel that were also pretty thick, and that was kind of it that was going for this phone. It's definitely not an ugly phone. I still think honestly, it looks pretty nice, but again, it's just an older, outdated device, and that's kind of the problem that you're getting here. I think this panel did get a little bit brighter, but at this point, it just looks so much the same that it wasn't even that big of a deal from talking about it. Now from the sides, pretty much the same thing. The thickness of these phones were pretty much identically the same thing as well. So even here, there wasn't a lot to complain about here, which is honestly very, very nice. On the bottom, they have lightning ports, which is also very good to have most of the time. On the bottom, they did have their glass backs. On the back, they had their glass backs. And this was honestly very nice too. Having full-on glass backs on both these devices is a really, really nice touch. And that was something that I really did like. I'm glad they didn't switch over to like a plastic back that Samsung did like the year after. So having glass backs here is really nice. My cracked back on the iPhone 8 is very, very bad. But regardless, single camera setups up top. Apple logo's almost in the exact same spot. You can't really see the Apple logo. Actually, Apple logos are in different spots. I just realized that the crack kind of threw me off. The Apple logo was up here. The Apple logo on the iPhone SE2 was at the bottom. So very interesting type of change there. We did have wireless charging on both these phones, IP certification on both these phones as well. So there was still a lot of cool things that both these phones were bringing, which was really nice. It just so happens that the design of the iPhone SE2 was already kind of outdated even by the time the iPhone 8 came out. So 3 years later, for getting the same type of design, just really wasn't that big of a fan of, to be honest. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there for the most part. Now another thing is with basically software updates, basically how much longer both these phones are going to last. And I will probably tell you that the iPhone 8 is probably going to be the one that's going to last not as long as the iPhone SE2. This phone is going to last probably another software version if we're lucky on iOS 17, and then it's probably going to end there. Not the end of the world, it's kind of what we expected, but it's still kind of one of those things you have to keep in mind. The iPhone SE2, this phone is probably, I would say, getting another 3 years of software updates. It does have the A13 chip, so it's probably going to match somewhere in line with like an iPhone 11, probably somewhere around that. So we're still going to be getting probably like another 2 to 3 years of software updates on this thing. So that's going to be awesome. It's definitely getting iOS 17, iOS 18, iOS 19 hopefully as well. So this thing still has pretty long lifespan compared to the iPhone 8. So let's go and do a speed comparison now. The iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. So I'm clear the apps in the background and they are all cleared out. iPhone 8 is here, iPhone SE2 is here. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone SE2 was already faster. Get out of here. App Store 3, 2, 1. And we did get into a pop-up here, kind of annoying a little bit. Let's go and scroll through these. And you might be even able to see there was a glitch on the iPhone 8. And scrolling through so far, it does look to me that it is faster and or smoother on the iPhone SE2 than on the iPhone 8. So at least we're getting some improvement there, which is really, really nice. Hopping out of here, clock 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think I glitched on the iPhone SE2. Photos 3, 2, 1. Okay, tons of different pop-ups on both. I don't know what's going on between all of them. Let's go and do mail 3, 2, 1. iPhone SE2 was the faster one there. Let's go hop out of here. Let's do some of these third-party applications. Genshin Impact 321. Now this is a very big game, so we'll just wait until it loads up into the main panel. And right in there, I think the iPhone 8 was able to load into that Hoyoverse panel faster, but kind of looks the same on this specific panel. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But okay, the iPhone SE2 was faster, but it was still very, very similar. I will say from actual gameplay, the iPhone SE2 is going to be faster, but still very interesting there was that much overlap between both of them. I don't even know where the other apps... Okay, here we go. So let's get into some other ones. Could try Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And this game isn't crazy, but there's been a lot of crazy panels that have been coming up in this game, which is very, very annoying. So I have to continuously, hop out of them. So here we go. There's another one. It's very, very annoying. But it's still loading up in the background, and the iPhone SE2 probably loaded that one up faster, as you guys can probably tell. So just like another thing to keep in mind, I think both of these are honestly very fast phones for their age, but the iPhone SE2 clearly here was quite a bit faster than the iPhone 8. Hopping out of that one, we can try something like Quizlet 3, 2, 1. And definitely the iPhone 8 or iPhone SE2 was the faster one there. Netflix 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone SE2 was faster there as well. Hopping out of this one, Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone SE2 was the faster one there too. Let's go and hop out of these two. Let's go and try another one. We can try something like Snapchat 3, 2, 1. And even opening up an application is faster on the iPhone 8 as well. So in terms of that, what I'll definitely tell you is between both phones, you're definitely getting a faster phone on the iPhone SE2. No matter which way you cut it, they may look similar, but the iPhone SE2 is clearly the faster one when it comes down to it. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there. Now in the camera department on the back, like I mentioned before, single camera setups, they were more similar than not in terms of hardware, but there is a software feature that is brought with the iPhone SE2, which honestly kind of surprised me when Apple kind of introduced it. So we're getting 4K at 60 on the back. We're getting pretty much the same megapixel count. We're getting the same kind of resolutions. We can film it the front and the back as well. But with the iPhone 8, I will definitely tell you when this phone came out, it was a very somewhat average camera. And it wasn't supposed to be like the most expensive camera of that time. It was supposed to be like a little bit of an improvement from the iPhone 7. And Apple pretty much delivered on that, if you kind of think about it like that, I guess. You have photo, square mode, panorama, like you have pretty basic camera, video mode. Like it's not anything that's going to wow anybody, but for its age, it's turning whatever, 6 years old, so kind of good. With the iPhone SE2, definitely a better camera overall. You are definitely getting, when the software thing I was talking about was portrait mode. You are getting portrait mode on this type of camera. I don't even know how to explain it. You are getting portrait mode on this type of camera, which is honestly very nice. And that is a feature that is mostly for phones with dual camera setups. The iPhone XR ended up bringing it in, 2018. So this phone probably uses the same technology, and is a very nice feature. Being able to just quickly turn on portrait mode and switch them things here and there is very nice, and I definitely do like that a lot. So when it comes down to that, that definitely gets a thumbs up for me for sure. And to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I'd probably tell you is that a phone like the iPhone SE2, I wouldn't even recommend buying this phone, to be honest, but it is a better phone to buy overall than the iPhone 8. I think that's quite clear. This phone is a bit out, both these phones look old, but the iPhone SE2 was the one that makes the most amount of sense to me personally. Now with the iPhone 8, this isn't a phone I would recommend buying at all anymore. It's fairly outdated. It's not really going to be supported for that much longer either. So this phone doesn't really make any sense to buy at all. The iPhone SE2 kind of makes a little bit more sense, but I would just recommend, at this point, buying an iPhone 11, an iPhone 12, like an iPhone, like a Google Pixel 7 or like a Samsung Galaxy S21. Like, I don't think these two phones are the only ones you have to buy, in my opinion. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, then let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.